My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I am reviewing Bad Boy Extreme by Carolina Herrera. Prices were all over the place and this was about 120. It was designed by 3 perfumers and the notes are chocolate, Indonesian patchouli, vetiver, incense, clary sage, tonka bean, frankincense, plum, opanax, Indian ginger, divana, bergamot, and labdaman. Do we have our brick of a bottle? Bad Boy Extreme? Are we engaged with a higher self? Let's get testing. So let's have a look at the atomizers. It's okay. I think this house has produced some really great perfumes, some things I've really loved. The other range, which is the square bottles, I've really loved. I think are really well created, and I think the perfumers that are creating this really know what they're doing. But let's see what they're going to do with the flanker. So there's a note in that I don't like straight off, and that is a biscuit sort of, well, cookie sort of smell. I really don't like that. It's sort of powdery and biscuit-like. It smells initially like a digested biscuit, which I particularly like, even though I can't eat them because I can't eat gluten. You can smell the divana. Divana is one of the raw materials I dislike working with. It is thick, dark red, and smells a little bit rum-like, but it has a distinctive smell. It's like rum. I find it really unpleasant, actually. I kind of don't like it at all. I use it in Notorious, and I use it really trace amounts to make it palatable. And higher up in a formulation, it kind of can smell like this. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to like this, but on a plus note, it's kind of mixing the Isusuba, the animalistic sort of like ambergris raw materials, one called Credemba. Credemba gives expansion and harshness, and it's quite metallic, very unpalatable within a formulation, but it gives expansiveness and it gives can give sillage to a formulation, but it's hard. It's one of those raw materials which are really hard to work with. The Kumar and the vanilla raw materials, you can detect the methyl pamplemousse, and methyl pamplemousse when you're dealing with vanillin, ethyl maltol whipping through the base, coumarin, all these sort of sweet raw materials can help to clean up a formulation, and cleaning up a formulation means it doesn't smell so soggy. If you have all these sort of raw materials like vanillin, ethyl maltol, coumarin, and then you add in some of the coumarin-like raw materials or some of the vanillin raw materials, they can smell muddy, and you need to clean them up, and you need to give liveliness and effervescence through it. And adding methyl pamplemousse can sort of give you that sort of grapefruit lift. It's not really giving me Bad Boy. I don't know, I kind of expected something a bit different, if I'm honest with you. I like within this formulation they're using, it's very complex. There's a complexivity within it. I like the way they're using cedarwood-like aroma chemicals, sandalwood-like raw materials. And I mentioned before, these can be worked beautifully to create a wood accord, and within a man's formula, you really need to sort of think about wood, not always, but wood raw materials. They just add that sort of masculinity to it, can make it sort of seem more natural as well. And that's what's being used in here. The dry down is better. Initially, that biscuit smell and that divana was way too much, but it is drying down and it's becoming sort of more palatable. Coumarin, ethyl maltol whipping through the base, fruit molecules to give that sort of sweetness, adding to that sort of rum. I would still say divana always sort of smells, can be pushed to sort of like rum sort of area. So that's why I'm gonna think about it, sort of like a bit of a boozy formula. Kashmarin is helping to give sort of vibrancy and life with the whole thing. And so with this formulas, I always think these formulas are really clever because you have to balance really heavy raw materials like white musk, which are heavy and dense. Some are crystalline, like tetralate. Some are thick, like laxalide. Some are semi-thick, like ethylene brassylate. Balancing that with vanillin and ethyl maltol, which are all powders, against cleaning that all up and clean that up and giving elevation as well, because the more sort of raw materials you have, which are heavy, dense, thick viscosity, or solids or semi-solids, the more you've got to lift it. And this has been lifted really beautifully. Dihydromercenol other acetates to sort of give lift as well. So it's been lifted sort of beautifully, and they really know quite what they're doing. On to my final thoughts. Yeah, I like this. I think it's okay. I mean, I feel a little bit underwhelmed. I don't know, maybe because I was expecting more. I think I like the first ones. As an extreme, it's extreme. Yeah, you're adding an extreme version. So I'm expecting, well, what is it? Extreme, you're going to be putting the price up 10, 20 pounds. What are you, or maybe even more, as we're seeing sort of within the fragrance industry with all these different sort of words and things. But really, you know, as somebody who makes perfume for a living, I always think when you are creating an extreme, an elixir, I'm never going to create elixir ever again instantly. An elixir, an absolute. That's something you really got to reformulate it. You really got to work for that extra bit of money. That's why I think personally, I love creating the more intense version, the parfum version, the extract version, the extreme version, the elixir version, kind of whatever. The most intense version of what it could be. And this is not giving it to me. It smells very pleasant. It smells very nice. It smells like a boozy, sweet fragrance. I think another thing as well is because I think I'm a little bit bored of the same. It sort of smells like they are taking the same framework and moving it around and just adding a different name. And there's not really anything done. It smells a little bit spicy as well. I kind of would love more to it for a extreme version. Something that sort of flows down the street, masses of sillage, you know, masses of projection. That's kind of really what I wanted. I wanted something where, oh God, one spray and it's going to stay in your clothes forever. You know, you're going to die with it on. Somebody got a lift. They could smell me a month later. That's kind of the thing, you know, I want that sort of like, oh, gosh, shocking escandalo. That's what I want. And this is not giving it to me in the name. I think this would have been a better name for Bad Boy something, but not the extreme. And the name really would make me want to buy it, as I would think it was giving me the most. It's okay. It smells. I mean, you could take this DNA and you could put it in 1 million. You could put it in Spice Bomb. You could put it in the Most Wanted. You can put it in all of that. It doesn't really smell particularly special to me. It doesn't really smell amazing. And one of the perfumers I read, she's called Louise. She did the Noir by Tom Ford, which I thought was one of the most beautiful things. And maybe I would have loved something like the Musk Choice, or adding in Limbinol, or adding in. There's so much you could have done. I would have restructured this and give it this sort of, you know, strength to it. Can be done. I'm gonna mark it as 7 out of 10. Nothing wrong with it at all. Just I feel disappointed by the name. That the name is extreme, and I was expecting, well, you know, something. And I feel like, oh, okay, it's just another sweet man's fragrance. Vetiver and Patchouli is quite nice. It's a nice fragrance, but you know, for extreme, the extra bit of money, I want a bit more. So love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for fascinating, interesting content. Lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance views. Hope you're staying safe and well. See you soon.